All right, everyone, let's get into it today. We're doing a deep dive, and the topic is yoga. We've got this fantastic collection of sources here, articles, some research, even bits from historical texts. Our goal, really, is to pull out the most crucial, maybe even surprising insights to figure out what yoga really is, beyond the usual images. So, okay, first things first. What really jumped out at me right away from these sources is just how incredibly old this practice is. We're talking India, over 5,000 years ago. But what does yoga actually, mean? What's the word itself about?
Yeah, that's a great starting point. It's fascinating. The word yoga itself comes from Sanskrit, the root yuj. And yuj basically means to unite or to join. So it's not just physical exercise. It literally points to uniting the body, the mind, and the spirit. And if you dig a little deeper into the philosophy behind it, it's also about that connection between, let's say, the individual self and something bigger, a universal consciousness. So really profound idea. And yeah, much older than most people think. Some sources even suggest connections back to the Indus Valley civilization.
Wow, okay. To unite.
Ah,
That sets a completely different tone, doesn't it? So definitely not just about stretching or cool poses. When these sources talk about the core parts of yoga, what are the key things we really need to grasp?
Right, exactly. The physical postures, the asanas, they're kind of the most visible part,
Yeah.
but just one piece of a much bigger puzzle. The sources really stress that yoga is this whole comprehensive system.
Yeah.
So beyond the asanas, which are great for flexibility and strength, you've crucially got pranayama.
Pranayama. That's the breath control, right?
Precisely. Breath
Yeah.
control, super powerful for regulating your energy, your state of mind. Then there's meditation, dhyana, for calming the mind, finding that inner quiet. But it goes further. You've got ethical guidelines too. The yamas, these are things like nonviolence, truthfulness,
Mm-hmm.
how you relate to the world. And then niyamas, which are more like self-disciplines, contentment, self-study, things like that.
Uh-huh.
And we can't forget relaxation, like shavasana, that corpse pose people often do at the end. Plus, there's this deep philosophy, often drawing from key texts like, the Yoga Sutras of Patanjali.
That's a lot more involved than I think many people realize. It sounds like a whole framework for living. I'm really curious about those yamas and niyamas you mentioned. How do those ethical ideas actually show up in practice according to this material?
That's a key point.
Uh-huh.
The sources make it clear they aren't just like abstract thoughts. The yamas are kind of your social ethics, how you interact.
Yeah.
Nonviolence, for example, isn't just physical. It's about your thoughts, your words too.
Okay.
And then the yamas are more personal, things you cultivate inside. Contentment, for instance.
Yeah.
It's not just passively feeling okay, it's an active practice of finding peace with what is. These are seen as really foundational, guiding you toward a more integrated life, both on the yoga mat and off it.
That really adds depth, doesn't it? And speaking of variety,
Wow.
our sources list so many different types of yoga. Hatha, vinyasa, people might know those. But then Kundalini, Bikram in the hot room. It's clearly not just one single thing.
Not at all, no. And that adaptability is something that really shines through in these materials. The sheer range of styles. You've got slow, deep yin yoga or restorative yoga, using props for support. It just shows how yoga can be molded to fit different people,
Right.
different bodies, different needs, even different intentions for practicing. And this is crucial because the sources consistently say yoga is for pretty much anyone. Age, fitness level, it doesn't matter as much as people might think. It's about starting where you are.
That's so important, especially with, all the perfect images you see online sometimes. It can be intimidating. So, okay, we know it's accessible, it's deep, but for someone listening, why should they care today? What are the real tangible benefits these sources highlight? What's in it for them?
Well, the benefits listed are pretty extensive. Physically, yes, you get the improved flexibility, the strength, better posture. It's fairly well-known stuff.
Mm-hmm.
But the deeper dive in these sources, it points to significant stress and anxiety reduction. A lot of that is tied to how pranayama, the breathing techniques, directly affect the nervous system, like stimulating the vagus nerve, calming things down physiologically.
Interesting.
Yeah. And that leads to better concentration, more mental clarity. Ultimately, it's about fostering emotional balance, self-awareness, supporting your overall health, both body and mind. It's truly holistic.
What an incredible journey, really. From ancient Sanskrit words meaning union all the way to practical tools for well-being today, it really is a complete practice, much more than just exercise.
Absolutely. And it sort of leaves you with a thought, doesn't it? If yoga, at its core, is about uniting parts of yourself, connecting with the world, maybe the question for you listening is, How could you bring just a tiny piece of that? Maybe it's just one conscious breath,
Hmm.
or finding a single moment of stillness in your busy day. How might that bring a little more unity into your life?